Welcome to Brunswick Now. I'm your host this month, Jim McCallum, and today we'll speak with Meredith Everhart, who is an assistant district attorney here in Brunswick County, and Patty Myers, a supervisor with the Department of Social Services. They're here today to talk about the Cape Fear Elder Abuse Prevention Network and what we as residents can do to help prevent elder abuse in our community. And secondly, we'll speak with Dr. Suzanne Adams, president of Brunswick Community College, where there is something for everyone. Stay with us for the next half hour as we bring you Brunswick Now.
Welcome to Brunswick Now, ATMC TV, Channel 3, bringing you the best of Brunswick.
My guests today are Meredith Everhart. Meredith is to my immediate left. She's an assistant district attorney here in Brunswick County. And just to her left is Patty Myers with the Department of Social Services. Ladies, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Our subject, as you well know, is elder abuse. It's a very current topic. We have an aging population here in our county and, in fact, all around the country. So, again, thanks for being with us. Patty, let me start with you. Tell us what elder abuse really is.
Okay. Elder abuse is a term that describes certain types of harm to older adults. What we look at the Department of Social Services is disabled adults that do not have the capacity to make the decisions for themselves.
Thank you. And in the next few minutes, we'll know a lot more about that. Before the show started, we talked about the Elder Abuse Prevention Network. Meredith, tell us about that.
The Elder Abuse Prevention Network is an organization that both Patty and myself are both involved in. It is a 4-county group, New Hanover, Pender, Brunswick, and Columbus counties, and agencies from all over those 4 counties, including law enforcement, the district attorney's offices, the departments of social services in all 4 of those counties, as well as lots of other groups that are concerned with the elderly and aging and disabled populations, including assisted care facilities and the area agency on aging, which is kind of our sponsor group for the Elder Abuse Prevention Network.
Do you meet periodically, and ultimately, what's an example of the outcome of your group?
We do meet once a month, and the goal of the group is to bring more information both to the elderly population and to the families and loved ones of the elderly population about the types of abuse that are out there and how to prevent it in the first place, but also what to do if you see that type of abuse going on in your family or if you feel that you might be a victim of that type of abuse. So it's prevention and also education.
Okay, thank you. This is for either one of you. What's the most prevalent type of elder abuse? Tell us about the different types or which are most prevalent.
Well, we look at physical abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Probably the most prominent would be self-neglect.
And tell us more about that, Patty.
Okay, self-neglect would be where an adult is not able to take care of themselves or make decisions themselves or has nobody to make those decisions for them.
And you know, we're a much more mobile society now, and so it's, as opposed to 20 or 30 years ago, we don't often have parents, children, or close relatives close by to assist us, and that creates a problem as well, I'm sure.
Yes, we have, we look at whether the adult has a caretaker, and when we look at a caretaker, it's a responsible individual who's going to be able to make decisions. It could be a family member, could be a neighbor, a guardian, somebody that's appointed power of attorney. Mm-hmm. It could be in a facility. It could be a mental institution, and they have to be willing to make the decisions and act on behalf of this client. the adult.
And that leads right into my next question. Who should report elder abuse?
Everyone. Everyone.
You don't have to be a friend or a relative. You can just be an acquaintance of someone that, if someone that you feel like is being neglected or abused by anyone. There can be abuse from caretakers, there can be abuse from family members, there can be abuse from the facilities that these individuals are in, and we are all required under North Carolina law. Everyone is a mandatory reporter. North Carolina law states that anyone who is aware of abuse or exploitation of an elder adult is required to report that.
So the message to our viewers is make that call.
And it can be, you can make the report as an anonymous report.
Thank you, that's very helpful.
Though the more information we have, the reporter's name is left confidential. We do not disclose the reporter's name. So it's important to be able to get as much information as we can.
Sure.
So that if we have the name of a reporter, we can call them back and ask them additional information.
Absolutely. So Patty, when you get a call on self-neglect, for example, what's the next step for you in the Department of Social Services?
Okay, when we receive a call, it goes through a two-party screening. The report does. The report is taken. We do a two-party screening.
And tell us what a two-part screening
Two-party
is.
screening would be with the intake worker who takes the report, or if it's another social worker, and a supervisor. And we go through the screening tools that we have in our manuals and determine if the adult, first, is disabled, if they have somebody who is willing or able to access services, or is that adult willing and able to access services. And by going through that criteria, we determine if that adult is in need of protective services. The case is then assigned to an adult protective service worker, if it is accepted, and they go out. We have time frames depending on what is alleged in the report, and that adult, that social worker will go out and assess the situation and work through the case. We look for family members. If it is self-neglect and that person has their the capacity to make the decisions, if they're cognitive and they don't want our involvement, then we have to accept that. If they are not able and willing to access services and make decisions for themselves, then we look to see, are there other people available? And if they are, then we guide those folks through services and try to get whatever we can in place for those adults.
My guest today is Dr. Suzanne Adams. Many of you know that Dr. Suzanne Adams is our president of, let's do it again.
I felt you up before.
Okay. My guest today is Dr. Suzanne Adams. Many of you know Dr. Adams is president of Brunswick Community College. We're very happy to have her here today. And Dr. Adams, again, welcome to our show.
Well, thank you, Jim. I appreciate being here.
We spoke before the program, and we agreed that there is something for everyone at Brunswick Community College.
Absolutely.
And if that's not a good theme, it should be, because our college seeks to find some way to serve us all. Tell us a little bit about the different programs at BCC.
Of course, programs, that's one of the areas I love to talk about, because I believe that Brunswick Community College really has a wide array of programs for everyone. I guess when you think about a community college, you think mostly about the curriculum programs, so I'll speak to that first. We have 47 curriculum programs. Of those 47 curriculum programs, 13 of them I would call really are transfer programs. And that means students might receive an Associate in Arts, Associate in Science, Associate in Fine Arts. But what many people don't know is that we also have pre-major agreements within those transfer programs. A student can come to Brunswick and be in pre-engineering, pre-education, and so forth. So that makes up part of our curriculum programs. The other side of our programs really we think about as professional technical programs, and these programs are designed for individuals who want to, after they complete a certificate, a degree, usually 2 years, they'll actually go into the job market. A few examples there might be aquaculture, horticulture, nursing. We have a new program, health information technology. So those are the types of programs that might go right to the job market. I say that, but I do have to qualify it a little bit too, in that a few of our programs that are in our technical professional are also transferable. For instance, we had a relationship with UNCW where our aquaculture students will complete the 2-year degree at Brunswick and then transfer into marine biology at UNCW. So in the curriculum area, I think we have so much to offer.
Okay. I want to back up just a little bit for my understanding. Are there two general reasons why our students attend BCC, and do those fall into these two categories? One, to spend a year or two at BCC and move on to a 4-year school, and secondly, to obtain a real skill for the workplace. Am I pretty close on that?
Absolutely. We find that students may want to come to BCC just for the first 2 years of a 4-year degree. And generally they do that because they want to stay close to home, and it is immensely more affordable to be at the community college than to spend the 4 years at another 4-year college or university. That other group, really, they're getting on-the-job skills, and usually that leads to an internship in an area, for instance, welding, and then leads directly to the job market.
Yeah. Now, we know that not all students are 18 or 19 years old anymore.
That's right.
Tell us about the demographics, and as you and I know, the typical student is not necessarily the 18-year-old anymore. Tell us more about that.
Probably, I have to tell you, the average age of a student at BCC is 26. Many of these individuals are full-time workers, and many of them have families. So certainly they are not our traditional college students coming right out of high school. And I believe we really step up to the plate to serve that type of student as well as that high school student. Students that come to us that are 26 and above don't have time to waste. So the first thing we really want to do is find out if they're in the right area, the what. Do they want to take a program that would lead to a job in 6 months? If that's the case, we might send them to a career path in continuing education. Or they may want to spend time getting a diploma, an LPN diploma. So getting that what established is so, so important because our older students don't have the time to waste.
And in determining that what, do you have some counseling early on to assist the student in making those decisions?
We do. We have 2 counselors and a senior counselor. Generally what happens is a student will come on campus, apply, and usually students have applied online, but as soon as they've applied, they will meet with what we call a pre-advisor, and that pre-advisor's main job is to determine where that student belongs, whether the student needs a fast back to the workforce type of education or where the student can actually spend the 2 years.
There are so many areas where I want to ask questions of you and not enough time to do so. Tell us about extracurricular activities on campus.
Well, we all know that students, if they are connected to some sort of extracurricular activity, they're more likely to stay.
Absolutely.
And what we want them to do is stay and complete a goal. And if that goal is graduation, wonderful. We are a commuter campus, however. So basically only 25% of our students have the time to spend on campus to make those connections. But what we do is we have clubs. We have 14 clubs. Many of them are connected to the students' programs, which I think are very important. We have a minority male mentoring program, which is probably a program unto itself that you'd like to hear about. We also have athletics. Those that would like to participate in any kind of athletics. We have a basketball team for men, basketball for women, volleyball for women, and baseball for men. Just opened up the new ball field.
Right.